Hello, I am your host, Kiri Jeff. Though I may have a passing resemblance to the homophobic homosexual lunatic known as Simas, I am actually Jeff Kiri's evil, definitely twin brother. And today, for the extent of this 3-hour show, I've got an ad, followed by another ad, and then another one. And we will end this show with the worst thing of all, a genuine call out to the problems affecting this industry. Anywho, video games! 2024 was one of the years we've ever had, wasn't it? Unlike in 2023, I recognized an impressive 2 games that were nominated for Game of the Year or other awards in Jeff's 90-minute ad reel with some award show in the middle. Shadow of the Earth 3 is not a game, it's DLC. Go fuck yourself, Jeff. All I'll say about it is there were a few popular contenders which I thought could get the nomination, but the fact I know of only half of these games is proof of the down year 2024 was for gaming, at least for me personally, especially compared to how fucking stacked 2023 was for gaming. Like, goddamn. Well, you know the type of video I'm making. Like last year, I'm gonna talk about some games I played. Not necessarily from this year. Most good, some eh. Anyways, the first few months of 2024 felt like an extension of 2023 for me, particularly with 2 games that came out, such as Lethal Company, which came out in 2023, but its real peak in popularity was over the turn of the year, and I'll be honest, it has one of the best gameplay loops I've ever seen in my life. You go to different planets, collect loot in facilities, mansions, or now mines, and then you go to a single planet to sell this loot, and repeat. The trick is, these places are packed full of monsters that are going to kill you in increasingly insane and violent ways. You've got the Facehugger, the Twist and Buy, the Spore Maker, the Gun, the Kablooey, the Charger, the Oh God get that thing out of my face, the Weeping Angel, the Butler did it, the You Better Be a Good Parent, the Snip Snip, and the Most Calm Small Dog. And about 500 different wholly unique monsters. I'm exaggerating, but there is an insane variety of them. And all of them behave differently. And all of them have different strategies to deal with. There's just one problem with the game. The gameplay loop does not evolve, nor is there any sort of in-game, which it is to be expected. The game is in early access. So after, for me, 70 hours, you drop the game, because you've read everything, you bought every store item, you've developed strategies. So what is there left to do? Nothing. I'm 80% sure that Seekers is planning to add some sort of ending, and I hope he does, as while I absolutely have gotten my money's worth, there's a lack of satisfaction that I feel, as basically every run I've ever had with the game ends abruptly rather than satisfying. It's a great game, and it also has mod support on Thunderstore, so you should go out and buy it. 0 out of 10 though. I can't have a visibly female jumpsuit with jiggle physics in vanilla, therefore the game is woke. I swear to God, Helldivers 2 is one of the best games I've ever played. Period. It's up there with Lethal Company is my favorite game this year, and I've already told you why. It's the game's genuine innovation in a genre that seemingly can't innovate, and its emergent cinematic moments. I swear to God, everything in this game was designed to pump the adrenaline as you kill your enemies and save democracy from those who would steal it from freedom-loving women and children. And the music is fantastic, man. I swear to God, have it playing over the shots of dictators holding military parades, and suddenly I'm gonna think they're cool, and maybe not wrong. Get game though. There is no arguing here over taste or whatever. Just get it. 0 out of 10. No, I won't elaborate. Go fuck yourself.
I know how you must feel. Lost. Alone. Hopeless. You probably deserve it. But even for you, there is still a way. A way to bring it all back. The one precious thing you ever truly desired. Finish it.
Layers of Fear is a franchise that I've been interested in, mostly for its developers Bloober team and the kind of weird version of horror it's a version that I've been interested in. Bloober team is a crew who seems to like making horror titles with varying degrees of success. I played the original Raiders of Fear way back and I enjoyed it. I found it a nice little entry point into the horror genre, but not much else. These games do have appeal. They're stories about tortured artists falling further into insanity, and there are qualities in these plots. The problem with the original Raiders of Fear is that behind the jump scares, it's just a walking simulator. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, there is, but the problem with walking sims is that there is no threat. So the game revolved around a very simple rule. Enter a room, find the puzzle piece or jump scare hidden somewhere, and then move on. There were multiple endings which felt like a standout feature, and really pushed your imagination with how you could get them, while other sections were just unintentionally funny. The remake is an interesting title, because it doesn't just remake the original, it remakes the DLC story, the sequel, and adds even more content and more characters, tying the whole story into one overarching theme over the whole thing. I've only played the remake of the original game, so I'll be reviewing that instead. The gameplay at times both feels better and worse. Instead of manually opening chests like you used to, there's a short animation for most of them, which removes the control you have over the player character. It's also much, and I mean much easier to get whatever ending you want. As the game, on occasion, does these arbitrary fucking paths ahead of you. Like, one path will be decorated with children's toys and family memorabilia, and the other is full of booze and painting equipment.
For a family?
Do you want the good ending where you prioritize your family, or the bad ending where you prioritize your painting? You don't earn either one through your actions, but by choosing the one you want. There is an actual threat this time, the painter's wife, who will, on occasion, show up to chase you around, and you have a lamp that can scare her off. While I do like the addition of a threat, I think it could have been done better without losing that whole aspect of do you value your family or the paintings. You see, in the plot of the game, it is established that the wife is justifiably terrified of fire, and you, to scare her off, flash her with a lamp that spews fire. You could have tied the player getting the bad ending by how many times the player flashes the wife, you goddamn monster, instead of running and avoiding her. Most of the segments you encounter her in are fine. They are simple puzzles with a Mr. X enemy running around. It's a good set piece, and some of my favorites from RE2. There is one near the ending that's just so horribly designed. You have two hallways. You have to go down the left hallway, but your dumb whore of a wife is here to confront you about the numerous abuses you inflicted with your drinking again. Not a problem. You go down the other hallway, but it's blocked by these shadow things you need to clear with your lamp. All good. You start doing them, but you're immediately caught by your wife. Isn't she supposed to move pretty slowly? Yeah, she is, but once you get past the trigger box, she literally speed walks behind you. This is one of the few sections in the entire game where you can clearly see the programming happening behind the scenes. The problems don't end with her sudden speed walking. You then obviously have to scare her away with the light and burn away all the things blocking the path. Except the time she stays away and how long the burning takes is just enough time to leave your lamp depleted and then cool down. So you'll probably need 5 tries to be able to run away. It's supposed to be a pulse-pounding escape scene, but I was just frustrated at the sudden difficulty spike and the developers shining a light on their own programming. It's a remake of an okay game. It improves a ton of things. It adds new scenes, more context, and gameplay elements. But for a variety of different reasons, most of which I've said, this remake isn't that much better. I can recommend it over the original due to the insane amount of extra content for a relatively negligible price. It costs 30 euros on Steam. But the gameplay, it's fine. The story is somewhat better told, but the threat makes the game slightly worse thematically. There is also less player control. It's a bit disappointing actually. There is one aspect of this game that is just terrible, objectively the worst. I won't accept arguments. They removed the funny section of the original where a ghost baby runs and charges against a wall repeatedly. And that's kind of it, really. I didn't play that many new games this year. At least ones that I felt that I wanted to talk about. I don't blame developers all over the world. It isn't some, oh, every game is woke or boring now. No, there are hundreds of games out there to still find and play, with more coming out every year. This year, I played a ton of 7 Days to Die with Friends, a shitload of Helldivers 2, which I intend on keeping it up, some Space Marine 2. I played the swap games pretending to be strategy games, Europa Universalis and Hearts of Iron. It's genuinely embarrassing how much time I spent on 2 games I don't like that much. Good God. Whether by sheer numbers it was slower than 2023, it certainly was a slower year for gaming for me. This isn't to say that the games that came out last year were bad. Certainly not. From everything I've heard, Balatro is great. And so is Astrobot. But I'm not interested in platformers, and the last card game I played was the Gwent minigame. What did stand out to me, and thankfully Jeff mentioned in his ad reel, was the perpetuation of the shitty working conditions people are facing in this industry. Most common this year, studios with breakout hits like Tango Gameworks or some divisions of Arcane shutting down, and just the unforgivable amount of layoffs. 24,000 in the last 2 years. It doesn't matter whether you think games were woke, or that Call of Duty Warzone is a work of art made by artists. This is 24,000 people. Human beings with their own lives whose livelihoods have been unceremoniously ended. Making games, and I speak from some experience, is great. Working in the games industry, by all accounts, it's hell. Not to mention the deregulated nature of the industry, allowing corporate overlords to just delete games even though you bought them, or the fact that huge amount of workers in the industry still don't have unions. There isn't much that feels like real actionable effort you can do. But there are some things we all can do. Firstly is spread word of mouth that unionizing is a great thing for developers. Support teams that have a proven record of treating their employees like normal human beings, don't have terrible workplace environments, and make good games. And donate money, if you can, as an example, to the Video Game History Foundation. I have taken the liberty to put my money where my mouth is and gave them $20. I know it's not much, but it is something. And at the end of the day, just learn how games are made. It's, it's such a fascinating topic and can give you more insight as to how your favorite games get made. The industry, despite record profits, has been plagued by bad news. I hope to God that these don't last too much longer. Happy New Year, and thanks for watching.